motivating story about a young couple and their unforgettable journey into a winter forest. A journey that began with love and adventure, but ended with a powerful life lesson they never expected. Welcome to our channel, Scenario Multiverse, a place where we explore realistic stories, emotional journeys, and fascinating multiverse scenarios that make us think about life in a deeper way. If you enjoy powerful stories, meaningful lessons, and immersive storytelling, make sure you subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next stories we share. Your support truly helps us continue creating these stories for you. Let's begin our story. Daniel and Elena had only been together a few months, but their connection felt strangely natural, as if their lives had quietly been moving toward each other long before they met. Like most young couples, their days were full. Work schedules, messages that never stop, phones constantly lighting up with new notifications. Life moved fast around them, and without noticing it, they had begun living inside that speed. One evening, after another long day, Daniel looked at Elena and asked a simple question. What if we disappeared for a few days? Elena laughed at first, thinking he meant a short break from work. But Daniel had something different in mind. A place far away from the city. No internet, no endless scrolling, no rush. Just silence, just time. A few days later, they packed lightly and drove toward a small wooden chalet, hidden deep inside a winter forest. The road became quieter the farther they went. The city slowly disappeared behind them, replaced by long roads, tall trees, and the calm rhythm of falling snow. When they finally arrived, the forest felt almost unreal. It was peaceful in a way that neither of them had experienced for a long time. The air felt cleaner, the silence felt deeper. For the first time in months, they were not thinking about tomorrow's tasks, unread messages, or unfinished work. They were simply there, standing together in the quiet heart of the forest. And although they did not realize it yet, that simple decision to step away from their usual lives was about to teach them something important. Something about life, something about themselves, something that many people spend years trying to understand, but rarely give themselves the time to discover. The first evening in the forest had felt like a dream. Laughter had come easily, and for a few hours, it seemed like nothing in the world could touch them. But as the night deepened, Elena grew quiet, her smile smaller, her eyes distant. Daniel noticed it immediately, and he tried to reach her, joking softly, asking about her thoughts, about the day. She responded, but there was a subtle barrier in her voice, a hesitation that made his chest tighten. "Are you sure you're okay?" he asked gently. "I'm fine," she said, almost too quickly. "Really?" Daniel wanted to believe her. He wanted to hold on to the warmth they had felt earlier, the calm of being alone in the snow, the fleeting perfection of their escape. But something in her tone whispered doubt, and he couldn't ignore it. They ate dinner in silence, more than conversation, and every word felt heavy. Later, as they sat near the fire, Elena's gaze drifted outside, into the shadows of the forest. Daniel reached for her hand, hoping to bridge the distance. She pulled back lightly. "Daniel, there's something I need to tell you," she said finally, her voice low, hesitant. He leaned closer. "Anything, you can tell me." Her hands trembled slightly. "My boss, he's been acting strangely. He said things, showed interest. I refused him, Daniel. I swear I did. But I went to his home for work. He called it important." Daniel froze, his mind spun. She spoke with honesty, but the truth behind her words felt heavy and dangerous. "You went there alone?" he asked, struggling to keep his voice calm. Elena nodded. It was only work. I wouldn't do anything. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to trust her, to hold on to the woman he loved. But questions rose unbidden, sharp and insistent. Why now? Why alone? How much had she told herself was innocent? The night stretched on, the fire crackling between them, but it couldn't warm the tension, the fear, the creeping sense of betrayal that filled the room. By the time they went to bed, neither slept. Daniel lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything he thought he knew, everything he had overlooked. He loved her, but a seed of doubt had been planted, growing silently, and he knew that once trust is broken, even a little, it is hard to ever regain the same certainty. Outside, the snow fell softly, the forest calm, indifferent, as if mocking their human struggles. And in that quiet, Daniel understood that escaping the world could not escape the truths that lie within the hearts of those we love most. The morning after that confession felt heavier than the snow outside. Daniel watched Elena move around the cabin with a calm he could no longer feel, her words from the night before repeated in his mind, echoing against the walls of his heart. She had gone to her boss's home. She said it was for work. She had refused him. But the clarity he had been avoiding all night finally struck him. He remembered her new promotion, the praise she had received at work, the way she now commanded attention in meetings. She was thriving in ways he had never imagined, and suddenly the balance between them felt shattered. He tried to speak, to ask questions, but the words tangled on his tongue. Every answer she gave seemed truthful, yet the truth was sharper than any lie. He loved her, but love alone could not erase the unease that had taken root. He realized that even small choices, when made in private, could ripple outward and fracture trust. The woman he adored was no longer the same partner he had come to the forest with. She had changed, and so had the rules of their relationship. Daniel's chest ached with more than heartbreak. It wasn't just betrayal, it was the sense of being left behind, of watching someone he loved rise beyond him. She had worked hard, yes, but the circumstances felt like a wound, one that left him questioning his place in her life, in their love, in the future they had imagined together. He understood now that life isn't fair, that ambition and opportunity sometimes collide with loyalty and love, and that navigating these collisions is rarely easy. Yet even in this pain, a small flame flickered inside him. He could sit here and let bitterness consume him, or he could learn, adapt, and grow. He had survived doubt, fear, and betrayal in this cabin, and he could survive this too. The forest had already taught him something essential. Reflection brings clarity, and clarity brings strength. Trust can be broken, hearts can ache, and life can shift beneath your feet. But every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Daniel rose from his chair and stared out at the endless winter forest, the snow sparkling under the weak sunlight. He realized that he could not control her choices, but he could control his own. He could rebuild himself, sharpen his focus, and find a path that honored his worth, his dignity, and his future. Love had hurt him, yes, but it had also awakened him. He turned back to Elena, who met his gaze with that familiar softness, unaware of the storm that had raged inside him. He smiled faintly, a smile of acceptance and quiet determination. And as he stepped outside into the crisp morning air, he asked himself the question he would carry forever. If this were you, faced with betrayal, trust broken, and a life suddenly unequal, what would you do next? Take a moment and think about it. Write your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what you would do in this situation. This is the end of the first part of our short story. The second part will be in the next video, where we will see how Daniel faces the challenges ahead and what choices he makes to reclaim his life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and activate the notification bell to support our channel and help us create more motivating and realistic stories like this one.